So the text messages, the memo, the secret society, is it all just a scam and a sham? The answer is no. But are they all exactly as they've been played out over the last week? No. So let's start with the basics. This knowledge that text messages were missing. Months and months and months of text messages were missing between when Ted Cruz dropped out of the race to right before Robert Mueller became special counsel. What text messages? The ones between Peter Strzok, number 2 counterterrorism guy, and this lawyer, Lisa Page, I think is her name. Right? This lawyer. They were having an affair, and they would text each other about not liking Trump, about liking Hillary. They would also text each other things that would make you think that there was something duplicitous going on. It matters because Peter Strzok was involved in the Mueller investigation. He did the investigation or the interview with Michael Flynn. There's a reason to be bothered by all of this. But then came the news that there were text messages that were missing, right? We knew we had text messages. We knew this was going on. When Robert Mueller found out about the texting or the relationship between the two, he took Peter Strzok off of this investigation, but the texts are still there, and they are damning and damaging. Then we learned that some of the text messages are missing. Now, why is this important? It's important because the Inspector General's office said they had all the texts, and then all of a sudden they don't have all the texts. So it was Charles Grassley, I believe, and Ron Johnson, Judiciary Committee and Homeland Security Committee there in the Senate. They are both chairs. Said, you said you have them, you don't have them. If you would like to explain yourself, that would be terrific. And then people said, oh, sure, the text messages are missing. In comes Samsung. These were Samsung phones, I guess. And people thought that President Trump was blaming Samsung for these things being missing. It was because the FBI had blamed Samsung. Well, Fox News reported that 10% of these phones with the FBI were losing text. What the bloody hell? What in the bloody world is that all about? How in the world can that possibly be? Well, turns out, I guess this is a thing. This is a glitch. This is an issue. And slowly but surely, they are working on recovering those missing texts. I mean, all in all, not just the missing ones, all the texts between these two, it's like 50,000 texts. I don't even know how that's possible. The number's mind-boggling. So, are the texts actually missing through some level of duplicitousness via the FBI? Maybe not. We discussed it here when we talked with William Jacobson, Cornell law professor, the mind behind legalinsurrection.com. That brings us to this memo concept. What in the world is the memo that has so many members of the House of Representatives so freaked out they think it should be leaked to the American public? Devin Nunes says, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. He is the chairman. Democrats will tell you that they're flat out worried about Devin Nunes, and they think that the whole thing is just a ruse to get you to stop talking about the Mueller investigation. That's where they're going with this.
Activity on the other side intending to either divert attention from Mueller or even stand in his way. I don't think that Mr. Nunes has played a constructive role, to say the least. And we're all worried about it. Mueller has to be allowed to do his job. I have faith in him. As long as he goes forward, everyone will abide by where he comes down. But he shouldn't be thwarted in any way, and the diversion that they're trying to do, both with Mueller and with others, is not good for the country.
Yeah, sorry about the bad edit there. That's on where we got the recording. But he's trying to tell you that anything having to do with the memo is just diversion. That's Chuck Schumer telling you that it's just diversion. Jim Jordan of the Freedom Caucus, He sees it a little bit differently when he was talking with Sean Hannity on Hannity's program on Fox News.
Demanding the same thing. Congressman Jordan, we deserve to see this. You agree with that? And how soon will we be able to get our eyes on these documents?
Great question, Sean. Here's the process. Chairman Nunes in the Intelligence Committee in the House, he can bring the committee back together. They can have a vote. If a majority of the committee votes to release these documents, the executive branch gets a certain amount of time to review them. If the executive branch gives the thumbs up, they go public. So this could happen real quick. Chairman Nunes is committed to getting this information to the public.
Not one Democrat wanted you to see it.
Well, no, they didn't. But after you read it and you see, and if they're playing partisan politics, you can see why they didn't want us to see that, and you can see why they won't want the American people. But as Matt Gaetz said, as Sarah said, this is something that needs to be out. So this should never happen in a country as great as the United States of America. And we need every single American take a look at this and see what exactly their government did, their law enforcement division did.
So, pick one. Pick one. I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer. I think Chuck Schumer is a wholly a partisan animal. I happen to like Jim Jordan, congressman from Ohio, Freedom Caucus member. I think he's an above-board guy. You may feel just the opposite. Is this memo a big deal, or is this memo nothing at all? Let's go to the secret society. This whole idea that Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin said that there's a secret society that's been meeting outside of the FBI since the election of President Trump. It comes from one of the texts. He said there was an informant. He has walked that back a little bit because he doesn't know what the secret society, if there is one, has been even talking about. But the text messages bring it up. So what do we have? Well, if you are a Republican, a conservative, an independent who is somewhat of a fan or more leaning towards President Trump, this is all proof of a massive cabal. Absolutely, President Trump was right about the whole concept of a witch hunt and wiretapping, and there should be criminal charges. If you find yourself more anti-Trump and more towards the left, this is all absolute nothing. This is embarrassing and shameful. This is all about trying to discredit the FBI, this fine law enforcement organization, and it's an attack on the individual FBI agents. And shame on these Republicans for being so in the bag for Donald Trump. And my goodness, it only means that Robert Mueller is really close to the fire. You know what it says to me? Second special prosecutor. It says second special prosecutor. You can't deny that there's enough here through the evidence. The evidence being the text messages, the evidence being the response from people like Jim Jordan, that there's at least something we should find out. Let a special prosecutor, special investigator figure that out. But there certainly isn't yet enough here, although I am more inclined to believe it, but I'm willing to take the step back, that you can utilize this information without knowing what it is in a way to somehow discredit everything else. Because you like something doesn't mean that it's reality to discredit your opponent or their point of view. No way. No way. So my answer is not to get angry about it. Special prosecutor, special counsel, an investigator into the practices of the FBI and the Justice Department. We just want to make sure everything's on the up and up. I don't want FBI agents being disparaged. I think they're doing an unbelievably difficult job. We should respect it. I think there's some leadership in the FBI that's got a problem. Andrew McCabe has got a problem. Clearly, James Comey had a problem. And yes, Robert Mueller has a history. Robert Mueller can't do this investigation. It's not part of what he's doing with Trump and Russia and collusion. No. It needs to be in its own place. Maybe we could just shut some of this down if it's really nonsense. Republicans overplaying their hand. They're Al Capone's vaulting this thing, right? This is all the vault, and they're all this big buildup, and then they open up, and then they got ungats. They don't have nothing in there. Well, let's find out. I've often said I can't start an investigation, I can't stop an investigation, so I don't get myself freaked out about investigations. But I think this is a perfect time for people to say, yeah, let's just make sure we've got it all together. Let's make sure we know what's going on. So let's get that investigation started. I look forward to the appointment of the special counsel in 3, 2, 1.